What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for some more Ange content. We should just call ourselves We Are Ange TV at the moment, literally. We are Ange TV.
Mate, I'm falling in love with this guy. I'm loving it.
Haven't even seen him do one Tottenham press conference. We're already falling in love with the guy. But what we're going to be doing today is looking at his tactics, seeing how Spurs are going to be setting up under Ange Postecoglou next season. Obviously, we're going to be making signings throughout the summer, so we're going to be working with what we've got at the moment, seeing what kind of players will fit the system that we can target this summer. But we will be going to a 4-3-3 system, we imagine. If you bring up the tactics board, so this is the kind of setup where we imagine with the current players we have. So what are you thinking?
So he likes to set up, it is a 4-3-3, but it's not quite a traditional 4-3-3, especially on the ball. So how it'll pretty much look is that's the 4-3-3, how it looks like with each player in their position. What it will look like in practice is he likes to get the wide players really hugging the touchline out here. And he likes these two, out of the three midfielders, these two in the centre here. You've got the anchor, who's like the playmaker, who's like to spray the ball around. He will stay back. Then you've got pretty much two number 10s in these positions here. They've got Basuma and Højbjerg here, but basically two number 10s. One of them in Højbjerg is going to have a lot of license to get in between the lines. Basuma, or this other number 10 as well, he also gets license to go forward, but you would usually hang around just outside the box, whereas this one usually gets license to make late runs in the box and be a lot more involved. And then you got the inverted fullbacks who like to basically come inside, create, get close to the central midfielder, and allow Spurs to have that dominance still in the centre of the park. So if there is breakaways, especially centrally, there's not going to be a lot of space for teams to play out. That's how usually Postecoglou likes to adapt his 4-3-3 system. Obviously, with the players we have here, like Porro and Udogie, those are kind of inverted fullbacks. We want to see it kind of coming inside in that position. I wouldn't be surprised if because he is kind of, he has a system, but it doesn't mean like just because you're playing right back you have to be the one to come inside, but usually those positions will be in place. So I wouldn't be surprised if, say, like Porro, he's the one at the moment represented as inside fullback. I wouldn't be surprised if he is the one who goes out wide, Højbjerg is the one who drops back here, and Kulusevski's a bit inside as the number 10 in that sense. And so Porro's the one hugging the touchline out of position, even though he's a fullback and he likes maybe his fullbacks to be here. I wouldn't be surprised if it with Porro kind of fullback he comes into this kind of position.
Yeah, but also in that system, if you were to go for what he has been doing with the inverted wing backs or inverted fullbacks, as you say, it could be Emerson in that role where you've got Porro. And it could be Porro where you've got Kulusevski, because if you're saying that the wingers are really tugged out wide, I mean that's Porro's where he earns his money, right? Crossing balls into the box from those areas, that's where his forte really lies. So I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised if you were to see an Emerson at right back, inverted right back, and then Porro being the one out wide, being rotated with Kulusevski.
Yeah, that's also true. And I think that could also be quite a good element. I think as well on the left-hand side, Udogie is definitely known for getting into these kind of areas, for Udinese being a bit of a goal-scoring wing-back and getting shooting areas. So I wouldn't be surprised again if kind of like Udogie and Basuma swap here, and maybe he's the one being able to get in between the lines and get further forward, and Basuma's maybe the one dropping deep, or they'd be very flexible. Sonny, I wouldn't want it. I don't know if I would want him out wide, that far wide, to be honest. I think we need him closer to goal, especially how he's adapted his game in recent years. So maybe it would look something like that even. Udogie maybe a bit further out wide, Sonny in the centre, and Basuma's the one kind of getting close to Bentancur. Maybe that's how it would look. Or even maybe you might even think it could be Kane, the one, and maybe Son would be centrally. Maybe Kane would be the one dropping a bit further deeper,
using his good passing ability.
If he's still there, that is. We'll have to remain to be seen.
If Kane isn't there, I mean, I really think Richarlison would suit this system to a T. Play him in the number 9 role, get him leading the press, And I've heard like under a Postecoglou system, the number 9, I mean, doesn't even see that much of the ball, can go, 10, 20 minutes throughout periods of games without seeing the ball. I mean, that surely would suit Richarlison down to a T if Kane was to leave.
Yeah, and I think he's the kind of attacker who definitely runs himself to the ground. He's the kind of attacker who will do the dirty work for the team. He'll run through down blind alleys and chase lost causes, and maybe those are the inches that you need in this kind of system to make sure the press is as effective as it can be. Obviously, yeah. When it comes to Kane, his output is so ridiculous. You could argue outweighs any flaws it creates in the system. But at the end of the day, you do want the system to be perfect.
Absolutely.
And maybe Richarlison might be better in that case.
In the Bentancur role, do you think? I mean, I think Bentancur probably is the best for that role, to be honest. But again, I think like Bentancur showed this year, his late runs into the box can really be valuable to us. He's probably the best passer out of Bissouma, Højbjerg and himself. Do you think it's a possibility that maybe Højbjerg could play that role as the anchor role, or we just need Bentancur's passing ability there?
I don't know if any of these players are. And if we're talking about. If we're in a situation where we're going to say, look, we're not signing any more centre mids, we spent enough money in centre mids recently, and we're not going to sign like a playmaker kind of role, so you're going to have to make do with what you got, then I would say probably Bentancur for me is probably the best suited to that, even though he has shown ability to get forward recently and have more final third output. I would still see him as probably the best anchor when it comes to like long range passing ability and just that ability to keep the ball and how I guess maybe Højbjerg would be the best one, because I think Bentancur is a bit better at like driving with the ball to feet.
That's what I'm saying,
whereas
yeah.
Højbjerg might be, and I think Højbjerg switches of play actually are more consistent than Bentancur. For Bissouma, we haven't seen too much of his passing range. It's more about his ball to feet. I guess Højbjerg would probably be the best one for that job, although you would argue Højbjerg is most at home when he's doing a bit of box to box and has a bit more license to get forward as well. So in this role, out of all the midfielders that we have, like as the one to be more attacking, like to make runs into the box, would you say Højbjerg is most suited to that, or would you say Bentancur is?
For his late runs into the box, I think they're both pretty good at it. I think they've
got more license basically to get closer to Kane, get more forward.
They pulled up similar numbers this year, and Bentancur was out for like half the season. So I think if Bentancur played the whole season, we might have been talking about it in a different light. But you saw towards the end, before he got injured, he was providing goals, he was providing assists, he was getting in those good areas of the pitch. I think Bentancur I think he's our best midfielder hands down at the football club, and I think he can do any of those roles. I really do.
The problem is, for me anyway, is we kind of have three midfielders who are perfect for like this more bit reserved number 10 role. I think in a way that who's got a bit of license to get forward, but is a bit more reserved than the other number 10 who has a lot more license to get in the box and get closer to the striker. I feel like Bentancur, Højbjerg and Bissouma are probably more suited to, all three of them are probably more suited to that kind of role than either being an anchor or being a natural number 10. And so it kind of leaves us in a weird situation where if we're going to play, well, look, and maybe Postecoglou might look at that and think he's going to play in a different way, but we're just looking about how he played for Celtic. Maybe, like, if we wanted to play it to its fullest potential, we probably do need a playmaker and a number 10, like, as a natural.
I actually genuinely believe Bentancur can do the playmaking role. I think he's that good, and I think he's got the attributes to do it. I know maybe he hasn't shown it to the fullest extent, but I genuinely believe he can do that. I think Bentancur can. He's got the passing ability. He's got the football brain to do it as well.
I agree with the football brain. In terms of passing ability, I'm not saying he's not a good passer, because he is a good passer. But at Tottenham, I'm not saying he's shown bad long-range passing, but I don't think he's shown good long-range passing, in a sense that his passing range has been limited to very much playing it side to side with Højbjerg, not doing too many switches of play. Højbjerg is usually the one who performs the switches when the time comes. So I think, I'm not saying he can't do it, I'm just saying we haven't seen it at Tottenham, his ability to consistently just spray passes over long distances.
We've seen it in short spurts, but not like over a consistent basis. And I think in a different system and in a more attacking system, I think he might show it on a more often basis. Because I think like his role under Conte and his role under Conte was more just giving and going, kind of like short passes and moving. Like I think his role under Postecoglou will be completely different to that, and I think we'll see a different side to him. And I think he's got it in his locker. I really believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I don't know if he has the kind of range in his passing like a proper playmaker in that role should have. Like a, I always go back to him, but like a Neves or something like that. Obviously, Neves is elite of the elite when it comes to like passing in the Premier League. Bentancur might have that. I just don't think he's displayed that so far, but he might have that in him. And if he does, I think he probably is perfect for that role, because I think defensively he can cover more ground probably than anyone else of our midfielders as well. He can be that anchor. He can go forward, but he doesn't need to go forward. He's one of those kind of players as well. So, and also he's not going to be fit till December.
That's the problem.
Another question.
But
We need probably a playmaker. I would say don't need it, but it would. Perfect, and also a number 10, a Maddison type of player, a player who's got real offensive ability in midfield.
Yeah,
that's what we need for this kind of role where Højbjerg is here.
100%. And if you look at that, I mean, that's kind of because when we're pressing them, we're going to be doing a man-for-man press. Kulusevski on the right back, Højbjerg on the centre back, Bissouma on the centre back, and then Sonny out there on the left back. I mean, that is such an aggressive press, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, usually, apparently, when it goes to the pressing, like the formation will kind of switch to a bit of like a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
So this number 10 here will join Harry Kane. They'll go alongside each other. This guy runs to the guy on the ball. He blocks whoever's kind of supplied to the pivot, and then these players will kind of both go out wide. Bissouma will join Bentancur here, and these players will both go out wide here to suffocate the wide areas. And then you've got these players covering inside, and you've got two more in the centre here. So like that's where you really just try to suffocate, and it's intense. Like these centre backs not going to be this deep; they're going to be like literally up here as well. So it's really going to suffocate the opposition.
Yeah, it's obviously we can not easily, but we can very much get caught out with teams that have really pacey forwards. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the problem, isn't it?
100%. So that's why it's so important that these centre-backs, when we do get caught out, they're strong in one-on-one duels. They're good covering wide areas and fast. And at the moment, we've got Romero who's good, but other than that, you don't really trust any of the other centre-backs in those kind of facets. Even like a Ben Davies, like obviously he was good in the back three. I wouldn't trust him in that kind of scenario, though.
If you put it back to how we're going to set up in the 4-3-3 formation, we can go by and see what players need to dramatically be upgraded before we even think about playing this system. First of all, the goalkeeper. Like first and foremost, like you need a goalkeeper that's going to be good with his feet. You need a very good top goalkeeper, and obviously we're looking at David Raya at the moment. I mean, that's got to be the first point of call, surely.
Yeah, I think a goalkeeper's a must. We know Lloris is leaving. We can't go Fraser Forster with our first choice for a year, in my opinion. I think we need to just look. It's a situation where there's no real excuse why we can't have the goalkeeper sorted this. And we know Lloris has probably been leaving for a long time.
Yeah.
When he signed that contract a couple of years ago, what did he say? He said, he even said it. He said, look, we're going to find a new goalkeeper for the next 10 years for Tottenham. I'm going to help look. So that's a couple of years ago. There's no reason why this summer that can't now be sorted. I don't want to hear like, oh, we're waiting for the perfect option or anything like that. That should be sorted this summer. So a keeper who's good with his feet, who can sweep a keeper as well. Forster's not like the best sweeper keeper either.
Yeah. So you've got Forster in goal. You've got the two centre-backs. We've got Romero on the right and Dyer on the left here.
Left-sided centre-back for sure.
Yeah, obviously Dyer needs to be moved on, and we need to buy a better centre-back. And that centre-back can't be Harry Maguire, because Harry Maguire in this system will get eaten alive.
Yeah.
He really would get eaten alive. So I don't get these whole Harry Maguire rumours. It just doesn't make sense to me. Also, there's a bit of concerning rumours about Christian Romero. I don't know how reliable they are, but they're saying he's not happy and he would like to move out of the club. And if Romero wants to leave this summer, then we're really in a sticky situation for the centre-back situation.
Yeah, 100%, because it means we probably need like 4 centre-backs and all new ones, and they're going to have to develop their own partnerships. I'm sure Romero isn't happy. Why would he be happy? I'm sure he's probably not happy with himself with his level of performance this season, but also, he will probably when he joined the club, what he was promised and what's kind of happened has been a shit show. Let's be honest. And he's probably looking at the other teams right now who are all settled in the Premier League, all having a good time. Probably a lot of his teammates as well, and he's thinking, the team I'm at just don't have their act together. Obviously, he has to take his own blame because his performances this last season were also not up to scratch. So
he's the one that made the choice to come and sign for us.
And he signed for us, of course. Yeah, but it's not his fault we're a shit show, is it? But he has his part to blame. I don't think he leaves, but I do understand if he's not happy with the current situation.
Again, it does remind me, I've said this so many times, and I'll say it again, it reminds me of the Vertonghen situation, because I clearly remember Vertonghen not being happy at Spurs and slouching around, and his mentality wasn't great.
He shouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
Why should he be happy?
Nobody should be happy.
He's a World Cup winner. He's got probably high standards for himself, and we just finished 8th. I mean, why should he be happy?
Yeah, but should he be happy to an extent where, I just want to jump ship and leave now?
No, he shouldn't. No, he shouldn't. We'll have to. Sorry, we have to wait and see how much truth there is to the fact that if he's going to push for a move or not.
But anyway, Romero is a Tottenham player. We're going to go for him as a Tottenham player. So that's definitely a starting centre-back that needs to be signed, 100%. Him and a goalkeeper is absolutely a necessity for what we want to do, because Dyer is going to get eaten alive. Any other centre-back that we have just ain't going to suit the system, or any system, to be honest. In the 3 in midfield, we got Bentancur in the deepest one with Bissouma and Højbjerg. I kind of feel like out of those 3, Højbjerg could be the one to drop to the bench, where you would sign a really more natural attacking, more number 10 there.
Yeah, I think that's the natural conclusion. Højbjerg could probably play this role fairly effectively over here. I mean, obviously, these could be interchangeable. It could be the guy on the left who's obviously more offensive, but we're going to say the guy on the left is less offensive. He could play this role pretty effectively. I wouldn't see Bissouma as a number 10, but as in a rotation capacity, he could be there. I wouldn't want to rely on Højbjerg being our most offensive midfielder. So I think he might be able to do a job there on a short-term basis, but long-term, you need someone with real offensive ability in the final third, where you can rely on him to pull something out the hat when he gets the ball in the final third and be creative, have that vision as well. Højbjerg just doesn't have that, unfortunately. So, and I don't think he's perfect for the anchor role. He's probably decently well fit for this role here, but again, I think we have other players who are more well suited to that. So. Yeah, I think he'll probably won't be as much of a certain starter as he has been.
Having said that, though, if Kane does leave, Lloris leaving, who does that leave as a captain? I mean, surely it's not going to be a new signing as a captain. We're looking to move on Dyer. Kane might leave. That only leaves Højbjerg, surely. who else can be a captain?
Be a longer-serving player, or Son. I guess Son could still be there, be our captain.
Yeah, there's even rumours of him leaving in a year's time. So one in last year for Sonny to be captain, but when you're looking at that, I think going into the season, you want to have 2 players in each position, most likely, a rotation option. So in goal, you want to have a new goalkeeper, Fraser Forster. Right centre-back, who are you going to have? Romero and?
Yeah, we need another one.
And on the left centre-back, you've got to buy 2 new centre-backs for that left role?
Yeah.
I mean, how is all this business going to be done? On the left back, we've only got Udogie if we're going to move Sessegnon on.
Reguilon's still there, potentially.
There's rumours of both of them going.
Yeah.
So you need to buy another left back. You need to buy another left back most likely, unless you can get a Reguilon to back up. Because I don't want Sessegnon being back up. Perisic is probably going to leave. So I wouldn't mind keeping Reguilon to play back up to Udogie, to be honest.
Yeah, I think if he can maybe get something out of him, Ange, I think it might be a good move. Right back, we're okay.
Right back, I mean, Emerson, Porro, and Spence.
Yeah, out of the 3, we can probably keep 2 of those. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep all 3 because I think Porro can actually do a role interchanging with Kulusevski on that right-hand side of the attack.
Potentially. And then we've got the midfield 3. Again, we don't really have that natural playmaker, but maybe Bentancur can do it. Or maybe even Bissouma can do it, but I don't think his pass... I mean, he's good on the ball, and maybe with a new lease of life, maybe that could be Bissouma's role potentially, but we've seen under Conte, he didn't like to be well shackled, but he did play at the base of a 3 for Brighton under Potter. So,
and he did it to a really high level as well.
But it was a very different kind of base than I think what Postecoglou wants.
But out of these 3 players, who do we have to back them up apart from Oli Skip?
Oli Skip and Sarr. And that's it, really. Yeah.
So you need to buy.
Well, you definitely need an attacking.
Well, if you
midfielder.
buy that attacking midfielder, Højbjerg can be another option as well. So maybe that's just one midfielder, potentially two.
One midfielder. I mean, I think you do kind of want a playmaker, but if we don't have, I think it's probably not like. I think we have the players who could potentially as a short-term option be that player.
It's much more urgent though to sort out that defence,
Yeah.
that goalkeeper. I wouldn't mind if we left the kind of playmaker anchor role to the next window, because I think the defence and the goalkeeper are so much more pressing issues, to be honest.
Yeah, and then the forward line, we have Kulusevski on the right. We have Kane and Richarlison up front. We have Son on the left at the moment.
Hill Messi.
Brian Hill was there as well. There's rumours of him leaving. You probably want to invest in a winger. I think you want a really good winger who can like take people on very, very quick. Where again, with now no Danjuma, we don't really have a winger who can take people on right now, like with real pace. And I think maybe that's something to invest heavily in.
Manor Solomon.
I mean, I don't know if he's the guy either.
Just as a backup to Son.
I think you want someone, not just a backup, who can really compete with Son.
Yeah.
And like you want to have a guy you can believe in a year's time will be better than
How are
Son.
we going to get all this business done?
Yeah,
it's
gonna
not
be
possible.
Mad. It's going to be
not possible.
It's going to be madness. So what was that? A goalkeeper, at least two centre backs, probably three, but let's say two. That's three players. You want a winger. You want an attacking midfielder. I mean, you could even say a striker as well if Kane leaves. But let's say Kane's staying. That's five. And you, in theory, you could want a playmaker and a left back as well. You want a left back, and that's 7 players.
It's crazy.
And also, you need to get rid of You need to get rid of up to over 10 players as well.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you didn't
so
mention
crazy.
Ndombele in this situation as well, because
Yes.
apparently he's going to be given another chance as well.
See, Ndombele could save us some money potentially.
Well, it's funny you say that, because he's not saved us money so
No.
far. We signed him for 60 million.
He could save us money if he comes into the squad, because I think he could play this role here where Højbjerg is. I think that could be his role here. And if Ndombele,
If he can bloody press.
if Ndombele, Bentancur, Basuma, that 3 on the ball, technically, it's a very strong 3.
Yeah, but what about off the ball?
You got Bentancur, Basuma.
Yeah, but you need every player to be fighting. Ange Postecoglou has said it so many times. I don't like lazy players. I don't like lazy players. What is Ndombele? He's a lazy player.
Oh, so he has to coach out of him.
How can you coach being lazy out of
Of course
someone?
Some players, they've had lazy seasons, and they like remember Hazard. He was like lazy for a season, then he turned it on. Like,
Yeah,
you can do it.
but tell me one season when Ndombele has not been lazy. You're talking about one-off season for Hazard. You know, I'm talking
Wasn't
about
lazy under Jose that 1 year.
what, for 5 games?
Yeah, it was a bit longer than 5 games.
Come on, man. Ndombele is like the epitome of a lazy player. He's not shown anything other than that at Tottenham
you
for
need
maybe
to
a
find
period under
like,
Jose.
Postecoglou's main thing is man management. He gets what motivates players, and maybe he can do that with Ndombele.
I really hope so, man, but I just can't see
never
it.
know.
I just
You
can't
never
see
know.
it.
And if he can, then I think that could solve one of the midfield problems.
Yeah, that's very true. If he can, it's a big
If he
if,
can,
big if. But even if Ndombele does come good, you're still talking about 6 players there,
Yeah.
top quality players there that
Like
we need to
which
sign.
were like a necessity.
Yeah.
For Postecoglou to play his way. It's not like if and when, like we need these kind of players.
Yeah, you can take out, because I really think like the anchor role is probably like the least pivotal out of all the out of all what we're talking about. Because I genuinely do believe, like I said, that Bentancur can do that to a high standard. But I think when you're looking at this transfer window, it has to be building up from the back, like we haven't done for so many years now. Goalkeeper. First up, a replacement for that left centre back in Dyer. Then you've got to start talking about, the backups and stuff like that can also come in at an equal level. And then I think like you can start talking about further up the pitch.
And attacking mid wingers, so much work. That's not even to talk. There's so much work here, and we're not even talking about if Kane leaves and all this kind of stuff. Even before that, there's so much to do. So it's going to be a very, very, very busy summer.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if there are any players in the academy that can come in and maybe fill these roles on the bench or fill these roles coming in as well, because obviously we know that Ange loves to use the academy and nurture players from the youth, and he will be using the same kind of coaching methods for the academies than it will be for the first team. So there could be some pathways there.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. And maybe we should do a video what academy progs could make the next step. But
Won't be Remain Mundell, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a shame. Looks like he's off, but maybe with Postecoglou at the helm, maybe there'll be a more belief in the academy players that can make an impact as well.
There's rumours about like players like Alfie Dorrington, centre back, that could come in and maybe play on the left hand side of the defence. I mean, there's a lot of talk about him. But I'm really not sure, because we haven't just utilised any of these academy players. There's the George Abbott that came on, Craig came on in the last game of the season, but who knows? We need to delve even deeper into the academy, and we'll bring you guys a video on that. But that is the kind of system that Postecoglou will be deploying for Spurs. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on where the players fit in, what kind of players that we do need. Do you agree that we need 6 or 7 top quality players to play Ange's system like we think? So yeah, it's really interesting. So let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the system. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.